Good evening, everybody. So some new polls just came out today showing the national poll is actually the real clear politics have it at Harris up maybe 1.5. To give you a little example of how bad that is for Kamala Harris. Basically in 2016, 2020, Hillary was up by 6 and 16. She ended up winning the popular vote by 2, lost the election. In 2020, Biden had a 9-point lead in the national polls and won the election by he won the national vote by 4, so skewed 5 points, and Trump's hidden advantage there. And Bailey just won the election. 10,000, 15,000 votes in Georgia. Maybe 60, 70,000 votes in the major swing states. Very tight election. So what's going to happen this year? What's going to happen when she's only having a lead of 1.5 in the national polls? Trump's up in the 7 swing states. I think it's going to be a blowout. I actually think that she's going to lose 6 out of 7 states for sure, the swing states, which we got Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Now, Nevada is a toss-up right now. I still think Trump takes it. Now, if Trump goes and crushes her, he gets 312 electoral votes, which would be taking 7 of the 7 swing states. Then you know what? The Senate's pretty much a lock. We're going to win Montana. We're going to win West Virginia. Republicans have at least 52-48 advantage. But then you got, Baldwin, and you got Lee Sonic in Michigan, Casey in Pennsylvania. If Trump has a good night, they're all going to lose. The guy running in Ohio is going to lose, the incumbent, if Trump has a good night. So we could have a 56 to 44 advantage in the Senate. The House doesn't look as strong, but I still think we pick up maybe 2 or 3 seats. But I really believe we'll keep the majority. This is just a race that the momentum is going in Trump's direction right now. And everything's about momentum. If he carries this momentum into November 5th, the next 2-3 weeks, it'll be a landslide. I even think he might win the popular vote. But even if he doesn't, who gives it? If he loses the popular vote by 500 or 1 million votes, he's going to crush it anyway in the swing states, the 7 states that matter. Now, getting back to another point, she knows she's losing. You know why I know? Kamala Harris knows she's losing this race. Her people are smart. Her campaign people are smart. And they know she's going to lose because they were hiding her. They were hiding her for months. Last 2 months, hiding, doing the vibes thing and the teleprompter speeches, backing away from the media. And they would have done that all the way to Election Day if she would have stayed up 3-4 points like she was in August, September. 100%. The reason why she's going on Fox and The View and Howard Stern and doing this media blitz, getting out there, is because she knows she's losing. But this is, what David Sachs actually said last week could be the death spiral of her. Because we all know she can't do interviews. She's horrible. The more interviews she does, the more exposed she becomes. But if she stays away from the media, like she did, when she first announced the first 45 days, no interviews, what's going to happen? It's going to get worse in the polls. So she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. What she can do to turn things around is answer questions, put out her policy points, answer them coherently with a clear plan of attack, what she'll do different from Biden. But unfortunately for her, she's an empty suit. She's a moron. She has no original ideas. If it's not written on a teleprompter, she's not going to be able to say it. She has no policy points. She, people say she's radical, this and that. She had to have an ideology to be a radical. She's a complete vacuous, empty suit with no ideology. She'll just say anything, and she'll just take orders. If she gets elected to this White House, it's going to be a continuation of Biden. Biden was a puppet for the deep state, and she'll be puppet type 2, part 2, whatever. She is a disaster. Now, that is good for the Republicans because I'll tell you something. People might be saying they're going to go vote for Harris, this and that. Democrats are excited about it because they hate Trump so bad. this country could be burning, and they would want Trump to come out and put the fire. But the independents, the people that actually decide the elections in this country, they might not be screaming from the high hills that they're going to be voting for Donald Trump. You know, his 45%, his core support, they're out there with the signs on the lawn, the shirts, they're at the rallies. They'll walk through fire. They'll go through Hell's Gate just to get him, just to go vote for him. We all know that. But the other 5-6% points that he needs to get to 50%, over 50%, is going to come from independents and defected Democrats. You know, the RFK Democrats, the Tulsi Gabbard Democrats. And these people are not going to come out and be telling everyone, including the pollsters, that they're going to cast their vote for Donald Trump. But they're going to do it because even if they can't stand the man, when they go to the grocery store and they have to look at the prices and, you know, put things back on the shelves, when they can't fill up their gas tank each week and they have to put in, you know, $15, $10 worth of gas because inflation's so out of control. When they worry about the border and immigration, they hear about, you know, Lake and Riley and this one and that one who gets murdered by these illegal migrants. They worry. And when they go into that voting booth and no one's around, they're going to pull the lever for Trump. Because as much as they might not be able to stand him, they can't stand his personality, the way he speaks. They're smart enough to remember that 3-4 years ago, 5-6 years ago, their economy was humming. They had more money at the end of the month. There wasn't 20 million people here illegally. They didn't have to worry about, you know, illegals robbing them on the streets in New York City. And that is why they're going to vote for Trump. And that will put him over the edge. And I think that besides the Democrats coming out in force for Kamala, it's still not going to help her out. The reason I believe that's not going to help, even though she'll get a strong advantage with the women, the gender gap will be huge in her favor. Women that want abortion, you know, 24/7, 365 days a week, they'll be out in force voting for her. But married women with children, they're more concerned about the prices at the grocery store. They're more concerned about the safety, the crime in the streets, than they are about abortion, by far. They're more conservative, by far. Now, let's get into these different states that she's going to have a problem with. First, I want to talk about Michigan. Michigan is going to be a big, big problem for Kamala Harris. And let me tell you why. Because the Arab vote is big in that state. 200,000, 250,000 Arabs pretty much at Dearborn, Michigan, a stronghold. Back in 2016, they came out, I think, Clinton had him up, had 20 points up on the Arab vote, 25 points up. Same thing with Biden. She is down 2 points to Trump compared to Biden being up to over 20. Hillary being up over 20 with the Arab vote in Michigan. She is down 2-3 points to Donald Trump with the Arab vote. And it's because of the way that Biden and Harris handled Israel. She sold arms to Israel. They supported Israel financially. And they can't stomach what's going on in Gaza. Now, that helps Trump out immensely in Michigan. And then also you've been hearing a lot of buzz about the young black male vote, or, you know, the black man vote in general, young or old. They're coming out in force for Trump. I think it's the lawfare against him when he got all these indictments, when he got shot, and that courage he showed. A lot of young black men think he's a leader, and they've been screwed around by this government in a legal system their whole lives. And to see Trump go through it, that's why they back the man. And also, they care about their financial success. They want money. They want to get that money. And they know they'll do a lot better financially under Trump than under this Kamala Harris. That's why Obama had to come out last week and yell at them like they were freaking school children. And, you know, they looked at him like, can you be any more out of touch? You know, Obama's worth over $100 million. He hides most of the year up in Martha's Vineyard. Then he comes out right before the election to tell people they got to vote for Kamala Harris. They got to vote. They owe it to him. And if you go on TikTok and you look at all these videos that young black guys are posting, ripping Obama, ripping him. They're basically not riding with him. They're going with Trump 100%. And even if the black vote only gets up from 11% last year, last cycle for Trump, I think he'll get to 20% in the black vote, which is still not great. It means 80% are voting against him. You know, 96% of the black females. But black men, I think, will be up to 35% voting for him, was to bring the black vote from 11, 12% to 20, 22%, maybe 24%. And there's no Democrat that will win an election losing that much of the black vote. And it will kill her in Michigan, like Detroit. It'll kill her in North Carolina, that has a huge African American population. And of course, it'll kill her in Georgia, the Atlanta suburbs. And hell, even in Philadelphia. But, there's a lot of black vote comes out of that city. And without that black vote, she will lose. Obviously, Trump's going to win white working class, the union vote. I think he'll win pretty much non-college educated voters by 10 or 15 points. He's going to win men by 15 to 16 points. But the most important thing that I want you guys to keep in mind, that on the two most important things, which is the economy and the border, inflation and the border crisis, Trump leads her when people are asking, voters are asked these questions in polls. Double digits on the border. I think that's like 12, 15, and about 8, 9 points on the economy, which should be a lot higher. She leads him obviously in abortion and threats to our democracy, whatever the hell that means. This is a woman that got put into the race from vice president to run for president without getting one primary vote. Not a single primary vote. And they talk about threats to democracy. They want to censor, the Democrats want to take First Amendment rights away and censor people's speech. And they talk about threats to democracy. But that's how twisted they are. It's a buzz phrase. It's a key word they throw out there, just like Project 2025. They throw that word out there to try to scare voters when Trump had nothing to do with it. He's just about it. Same thing with, Trump's going to legal outlaw abortion or sign an abortion ban nationally. When he came out, 5, 6 times and said that he will not sign an abortion ban. He believes in the exemptions and the life of the mother, whatever. And he thinks the states will vote on it. Some states are voting on it, getting 15 weeks, 12 weeks. It's up to the individual states. No one's going to take the abortions away. Okay, nobody. And the bottom line is this: they have nothing. The Democratic campaign, Kamala's campaign, has nothing. That's why the last couple of days, all she's been doing is bad-mouthing Trump. They'll ask her about the economy. She'll say, well, Donald Trump's a horrible economy. They'll ask her about, inflation. Donald Trump caused inflation. They'll ask about this. Donald Trump. Every question is out of her mouth. It seems like Trump's playing in that lady's head 24 hours a day, and she just spits the venom. And I know it gets the Democrats excited, but they're gonna vote for you anyway. The Democrats, you got them. Hardcore D's are not flipping for Trump no matter what. She could pretty much walk out on the next stage, next rally, naked, with pink hair, smoking a freaking blunt. They're going to still go out and vote for her. But what it does do, it turns away any Republicans, any people that are conservative that don't like Trump, and it turns off the independent voters that are down the middle, centrist voters. They're not going to just vote for you, Kamala Harris, because you tell them Trump's a threat to democracy and look what he's done here, here, and here. They know what Trump said over the years. There's nothing that's going to shock them about it. They don't like it. They wish he would tone it down. But if it's either that, dealing with Trump's rhetoric, or voting for you and having to worry the next 4 years, are they going to pay their electric bill? They're going to fill their fridge? What are they going to pay for first? Because prices are out of control. People are starving. They can't live. And like James Carville said back 25, 35 years ago, whatever it was, is the economy stupid? James Carville, of course, was the campaign manager for Bill Clinton's campaigns in the 90s. Was actually pretty effective at his job, getting Bill Clinton elected twice. Okay, today he's off the deep end. He's a major TDS, has major Trump derangement syndrome. Guy is out of his friggin' mind. He's almost like 80 years old, But back in the 90s, this guy had his finger on the pulse. And after I think Clinton got elected the first time, someone asked him what it was, how, because Clinton was an unknown going against an incumbent, George H.W. Bush, who was the vice president, Reagan, president 88 to 92, won a successful campaign in the first Iraq war, war hero himself. Bill Clinton was a little-known Arkansas governor with a lot of charisma and a sharp mind. And when asked how did he pull it off, James Carville answered by saying, "It's the economy, stupid." Keep that in mind. Good night, everybody.